Hello, welcome back to MFWoodShop. Today I'm going to do a little bit different style video than I normally do, simply because I built this contraption with the mindset of a prototype. Right now it's actually looked like it's going to work out pretty well, and I'm not going to rebuild another one. The downside is I didn't film any of this. So what I'm going to do is tear this apart, explain what I did to get to this point, and then in another video finish it up and show you how it works. Let's get started. Alright, well, the first thing I need to do is get this belt off from the inside. And what this machine is to turn your drill press table into a sharpening jig. Sharpen chisels, hand planes, hand plane knives, or whatever. It's basically a generic version of the workshop. Now, I'm not going to have plans for this, so don't ask. The reason is even though that I did think of this, believe it or not, when I was doing a little bit of research on how to pull this off, I found that somebody else has already done the idea, and that somebody else already has plans available. So in the link in the description, I'll give you the other company's site, so you can get the plans from them if you want. So essentially the only thing this is my idea coming to life. So unfortunately somebody's already capitalized on the idea, and I'm not going to take their potentially money, essentially. So I'm not going to do that. In a few seconds, let me break this down, and then as I put it back together, I'll explain what's going on. Okay, so the first thing I built were these two pulley housings, or what I'm calling pulley housings. These are 4-inch pulleys. They use a 5/8 shaft for the drive shaft, and what I used was 11-inch 5/8 bolts. I cut the head off both of them, and one of them I cut the threads off as well. So the pulleys are, like I said, 4-inch pulleys. They have 2 set screws here to hold against the drive shaft so the pulleys can spin. Along the shaft I have a 5/8 collet, a 5/8 machine washer on both of them, on both drive shafts, and that's about it as far as that goes. Now the housing itself is just this U-shaped housing. It's 2 pieces of plywood here that are both the exact same size. I found center on both of them. I drilled a 3/4 inch hole. The 3/4 inch hole goes all the way through, and then I drew on the inside, I hope you can see it, on the inside I recessed a 5/8 radial bearing, and that took a 1 3/8 inch drill bit. I inset the bearing into that reset, and then on the other side I got the 3/4 inch hole, and that's because that bearing, it kind of wobbles a little bit. It's not a very good bearing. So I did that on both pieces here and both pieces here. So the way this is set up, the top plate is 5 1/4 this way, and I believe it's 5 1/4 that way as well, I think. Yep, it's 5 1/4 square on these 2 pieces and those 2 pieces. This piece here is of course 5 3/4 wide and 4.5 tall. Those measurements aren't real important, but that's the measurements I used. Now the next thing I needed to do, once I got these housings fixed, I needed to come up with some sort of drive shaft. And like I said, I used the 5/8 bolt, and that's essentially my drive shaft on both of them. And then once I got the drive shaft kind of figured out, I bought the smallest belt that I could find, which is a 2610 from Tractor Supply. That's the part number. That's the smallest belt they have. And I believe the 26 means it's a 26-inch belt. I'm not too familiar with the numbering system on this one, but I believe it's a 26-inch belt. It also has a part number of 3A. So, yeah, I think it's a 26-inch belt. Don't quote me on that. So I needed to find out how far that these could come apart and get enough tension in order to build the surround to encase those pulley housings. So once I figured that out, the pulley housing, I guess you could call it, or the surround. The bottom plate is 14 7/8 long. Again, the 5 3/4 wide, or 5 1/4 wide. And then the side pieces are 5 3/8 tall. And then the pulley housings go into here and into here. Then I'm well on my way to encase this whole project. So let's go back to the pulley housings here real quick, just to show you how I assembled them. Whether it's the right way or wrong way, I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so this is just how I did it. So I got the pulley housing. I can place the 5/8 machine washer down. That rides on the bearing so it don't destroy the wheel or the pulley. Then the pulley housing, or the pulley itself, goes in, and then I got this 5/8 collet that goes right in as well. Now this is the drive shaft that actually goes into the drill press. This piece will go into the drill press here and make everything spin. So all that gets dropped right down inside. 4mm hex wrench, and it also takes the same on the pulley drive, or the pulley itself, with 2 set screws. So that housing is done. Now the sanding pulley, it's a little different because this one has to adjust in order to either replace the belt, put the belt on, take the belt off, or just to adjust it for the belt tensioning. So on the shroud, whatever, I don't know what to call this. We'll call it shroud for now. On the outside, I got 2 T-nuts going in from the outside. I got quarter 20 bolts. These are just what I had laying around. They're actually carriage bolts. It's not ideal for this one, but it works. So those bolts go through. They inline with these holes here, and this adjusts my pulley. So the same principle on the drive shaft on this. I got the 5/8 machine washer that goes right on top of the bearing. That way it don't wear out my pulley. I got the pulley itself, And then on the collet, I did something a little different, is I put it at the very top of the shaft. I'll show you in a minute. Now this shaft is a little different as well, because this is what holds the sandpaper. I don't have any 6-inch sandpaper, but you get the idea. The sandpaper will go on here, sticky. What I got under here is a 5/8. I don't know what this plate is called. I'll have to look it up, and I'll put it in the screen right over here what this thing's called. But essentially it's just a plate to hold the disc. And right now I just got a screw in there so the disc don't spin. I will replace that with the cotter key once I drill all the way through and get it going. So the shaft goes in. Oops, forgot the collet. Collet, pulley, washer, then the other bearing. So this one gets pushed down most of the way. Again, it's just a little off the bottom. Then I could set my set screws. The collet I'm taking all the way up to the top bearing. That way it don't wobble out. And then the pulley itself, it gets pushed down all the way. So the inside of that will look like that. I got the collet all the way at the top. I got the pulley, then a machine washer, and everything's mounted in. So that just gets, pushed in there for now. So on these two adjusting screws, once it goes through the pulley housing, I could put a washer and a nut. And this is a lock nut. Of course, I don't have everything tightened down all the way because I'm still in the prototype stage. So what this will allow me to do is I'll have this adjustment this way, and then as I tighten up these bolts, that will pull this whole assembly this way and give me tension on the belt. This pulley housing gets fixed to the inside. I got, I think, 4 screws on here. I got 2 on the inside, 1 on the back side. And I got 1 on the bottom. Now in the final project, I'll probably glue that piece into place, but for now I'm going to leave them with screws. I will have to take this pulley back off because I got to put the top back on. So I got to do that. The top piece, it measures out at 7 inches by 17 7/8. I got a 3/4 inch hole on this side, and I got a 3/4 inch slotted hole on this side. The slotted hole is so that this shaft can move back and forth. So this pulley housing can move back and forth and give me tension on that belt. So that's what that's for. So now I can drop this back in. Oops, forgot all the pieces. So I got the pulleys in, I got the top just loosely on there, it's not bolted down or anything. So I need to get the belt in. What I've come up with is this shaft. I gotta loosen up that one collet again. There we go. So I can lift up the whole pulley drive shaft, get the belt around it, and then put it back in place. Get it around that pulley. Now with the adjustment, I can pull that all the way up. Do the same thing on the other pulley. Get it around the shaft and around the pulley and put it back into place. Now I'm finally ready to set everything tight. Got all my set screws tight. Okay. So now you can kind of see what I'm going for here. I'm going to go ahead and mount the top, which I should already have some screw holes for. And at this point, I could go ahead and adjust the tension for the belt itself by just basically unthreading these bolts, and it pulls this whole pulley housing back. I think that'll probably be fine right there. So that's that. I got 2 side panels that encloses everything. That's not got the top on right where I needed it. That's all I think. Let's get that hole in right hole. Let's get all here. Okay, so essentially the machine is done at this point. You would slap a piece of sandpaper there, put this in the drill press. When the drill press spins this piece spins. So that's where I'm at to this point. I'll show you this running, but I'm still not done. So at this point, I just need to come up with some sort of tool rest idea. I've been playing around with kind of something like this, and then some way to hold a dowel rod or a metal shaft up like this. That way I can set my chisels on right here, and as that spins, sharpen it, and then I can also slide the chisel this way and sharpen the backside of it as well. Alright, so over here at the drill press, it will just set on your table. You could probably clamp it down, and I might later, I don't know yet. Bring your table up. Let that shaft go inside the wheel. Once it's fine, you tighten it down. So if you build one of these, you'll have to play around with the RPM setting. The pulley is 1-to-1, so whatever your drill press is going to do, your disc is going to do. So you'll have to play with the RPMs and get them low enough so you're not burning your chisels if you're actually sharpening. Right now it's at the speed I normally leave it at, but you can kind of see what's going to go on. Just bent. Maybe in the final product I'll have a little wing coming off here so I can actually clamp it down. And if your drill press has T-slots, you can even do something with that as well, which I might actually do. So there we go. So you can kind of see with the pencil markings just lightly going through, it's pretty well flat. So really at this point, I'm just ready for some sandpaper, you know, some sort of tool rest, and then I can give it a shot and figure out the adjustment on the drill press so that's not spinning so fast. You don't want it too fast when you're sharpening chisels or any metal really, because you'll burn them up. All right, a little different video style than I'm used to, but I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. I just wanted to get you to this point because anything from this point on I'm going to film and then show in the second part of this video, which will probably be the first of the year. I got some other things going on, and it's probably going to push me back a few weeks. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope I explained it well enough so you can figure out where I'm at to this point. I think it'll be a pretty cool little jig or machine, whatever you want to call it. I am not going to do plans for this, so don't ask. I will leave the link in the description below for the other company that made plans for this. Although this was my thought process right here, the other company kind of beat me to the punch, and they actually have paid plans where you can actually go and buy them. And they're probably got all the bugs worked out of it where I haven't yet. So that might be a better alternative for you. I'm not going to do a website article or anything on it. I'm just going to do a video of up to this point and then another video bringing you to the final project. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. I like the progress where it's at. The disc is running pretty flat, and that's pretty much it until the next video. So if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time.